This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Here's your report.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire someone just like you.
Try LinkedIn Hiring Pro. It's more than a job board. It's like the recruiter you always wished you had. Hiring Pro uses real-time insights to match your role to LinkedIn's unique network of professionals and delivers a short list of best fit candidates. You'll spend less time sorting applicants and more time talking to the right people.
Let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
Hi, it's Dave here. This is my wife, Kathy.
Hello.
This is the Cinemile. It's the podcast where we walk home from the movies. And today we're going to the movies to see the Odyssey. I think this is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. Christopher Nolan always delivers cinema, pure cinema. And people turn out. Isn't it great to see people going to the cinema?
There's so many screenings of it on. We are going to see it in the biggest screen in Cork. I'm excited for this. Have you read any of the Iliad or the Odyssey?
Yeah, I did in college, I think. I mean, I know the story.
Yeah?
I don't know if I either read it or...
You read a 400-page poem?
I read... Okay, then I definitely didn't read it. But what I did do is, which I would often do studying English in college, was read sparknotes.com and sort of get the overview.
Kids these days have AI. We had SparkNotes.
With SparkNotes was great. It would just give you a condensed summary of the whole thing and then some of the key themes, and then I'd make my own
Lucky for
mind
you,
up.
I studied Greek and Roman history in first year of university. Sadly for you, I failed it. Not to repeat it.
Oh, great. We've got a...
But I did touch on them, and I do vaguely remember them. So the Iliad...
the closest we've got to an expert on this podcast.
The Iliad's like the time before Troy.
Yeah.
Leading up to.
So Homer wrote the Iliad and Odyssey. They're
yeah.
two different poems,
Yeah.
is it? Right, okay.
So the Iliad is like leading up to and Troy, and then the Odyssey is Odysseus's journey home, like 10-year journey home after. And like I read obviously extracts of them, obviously some SparkNotes, but actually some of the text as well. I mean, it's unbelievable Christopher Nolan has written this film. So he's turned the Odyssey into a film that he has also directed and produced. He is some man, I have to say. The cast is insane. Like
Everybody's in this movie.
Everybody's in this
the
movie.
The entire cast of Spider-Man Brand New Day is within the Odyssey.
So
like the
weird.
Odyssey is so big, it's swallowing up other films' casts.
It's mad. So I just can't wait. I love big event cinema like this. We're going to an early screening. We're going at 4:40 because of the length of this film. Obviously.
3 hours. I don't care. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there. It's his second longest film. Guess what his longest film is?
Oppenheimer.
Yes, correct.
I am looking forward to a bit of aircon as well. We've got a heat wave here in Cork.
Exactly.
And it's very, very hot.
I like his films more as he goes on. So I loved Oppenheimer. I loved, what have we had before that?
Barbie was the other film he made. He directed both those films that year, didn't he? What was before that?
Was it Tenet?
Tenet. Oh, Tenet was weak.
Tenet was
Tenet was
weak.
one of his weakest ones.
But we
It's very
saw
interesting,
it.
very ambitious. See, what I love about Christopher
ambition,
Nolan is he seems to be just doing very different things each time. He's one of those few directors with the blank check, with the carte blanche, and he gets to do whatever he wants, and he gets complete creative control, and he's a very interesting filmmaker who's committed to film and cinema.
And this is why I've loved him. Like, I was never really a Christopher Nolan gal. Didn't like the Bane era. We did also...
That was a weak film, actually.
That was weak, yeah.
Film, yeah.
We did also watch in our film Dunkirk, which was brilliant.
Oh, Dunkirk
he does
was
an
great,
epic battle brilliantly. But with Tenet, even though I didn't love the movie, it was the film that got us back into the cinema after the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I loved that Christopher
During
Nolan...
the pandemic, really.
Yeah, it was kind of like after the first lockdown.
Yeah.
And when things opened up and you had to social distance, and we went to see that in the cinema. And I loved that Christopher Nolan as a director used his influence to force a cinematic release.
Used his influence to force millions of sick people into a small room. No, I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
Sorry,
everyone was masked up and socially
I know.
distanced. I just love that he did that and that he constantly commits to these big cinematic releases. Obviously, we can't see it in IMAX living in Cork, but we are seeing it on the biggest screen, and the whole thing's been shot in IMAX.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's go.
Looking forward to it. See you shortly. Or not shortly. See you in 3 hours.
Home. Ithaca's a kingdom waiting for a king.
My dad is coming home.
They're pining for a daddy you didn't even know. Like some sniveling bastard.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
Bringing vengeance. Bringing it all.
I could take the throne.
They're not giving up power to you or Odysseus. Do you think life goes back to the way it was?
That world is gone.
Okay, hi, we're back, and we have now seen the Odyssey, like many of you. We're not going to spoil this 3,000-year-old text until, of course, we get to spoiler street. Kathy, what did you think of the Odyssey?
I loved it in whatever it was, just shy of 3 hours. Like, I was never even for a second bored. I think I don't even know what to say. I feel like I need to watch it again. I think it's the best film he's ever made. I think it's absolutely stunning. I think he is a genius. I really do think that, to have adapted this and made this. I bow down, hats off, everything. He's a genius. It looks so wonderful. I felt like I was there. The casting of Matt Damon was inspired as Odysseus.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The casting of Tom Holland as Odysseus' son, amazing.
Yeah.
All around that, of course, we had all these incredible actors who pop in and out very briefly. Some of them. The whole journey, and it was coming back to me as I was watching it. You know, these famous mythical creatures like the Cyclops, and each little scene could have been a film in and of itself.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson was a great baddie in it.
Yeah.
Really great baddie. Weird that him and Zendaya are in this, when we've of course just watched them.
I told you every cast of every film
Spider-Man.
this year is
Oh,
in.
yeah.
No, the drama's in here. Spider-Man's in here. The June cast are probably in here. Sure, I think everyone's in here.
That is a little bit too much now. Like, is Tom Holland only in films with his wife? So, but I loved Robert Pattinson in it, and I loved the whole arc, and I love every bit of the journey, and I think the parts of it that took place like on the sea,
Yeah,
in these incredible boats, and then the Battle of Troy stuff blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. I have shivers thinking about it. And it's a story, of course, we all know, and coined the phrase Trojan horse. Anyway, I'm really jumbled up because I don't really know what to say about it, because it was such an overwhelming experience. And I need to think about it, I need to sit on it, but I really do think it's possibly one of the best films I've ever seen in my whole life.
It was I loved it too. It was an incredible experience, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
This is what you want when you go to the cinema. This is the kind of thing which you will never be able to recapture at home.
Yeah, like,
right?
anyone listening who wasn't thinking of going to see it in the cinema, please go and see it in cinema. And look, some people can't, and cinema's not always accessible for people. But if you can, even if it's a really small screen, go and do it.
And on that point, I think the sound is crucial in this film.
Oh my God, the sound's amazing.
The sound design is incredible, and it just gets into your stomach. And Ludwig Göransson's score is amazing, and he is my new favourite composer. The percussion in this score is incredible. So we saw it with a screen that has, luckily, the Dolby Atmos system and speakers, and it was just insanely good. Would love to see this in IMAX someday, but I don't know, is that possible? But
it's going to be in IMAX for the next 12 months. I'm sure we'll make it.
It's the kind of thing. Yeah, that's true. It's the kind of thing that Yeah, like I said, what we just experienced will never be the same at home. You cannot recapture this at home, no matter how good your home theatre setup is. But the movie, yeah, I think I'm just so glad that Christopher Nolan is out there making adult, interesting, like big, epic, gorgeous-looking films and just putting in so much effort. I think we've been complaining a lot lately about just like go out there and go to a place and point your camera and be on location. And we were watching
Supergirl
footage. Yeah, Supergirl doesn't look good. We were looking at the new Moana remake, which we haven't seen, but like it was just looking at where we went in the lobby, the footage of that. Also largely set at sea. It just looks garbage. I'm sorry, it just looks crap.
And this looks so real.
This is, I don't know where he was, what they were doing, if they were probably in a big water tank in a stage.
I haven't looked up
but
a
it's like,
single, I will now hoover up the behind the scenes,
same.
but I've been deliberately avoiding it all.
But like whatever he did, it just looks like they were on hills, on grass, on sand. Like you say, I completely agree. I was never, for a moment, did my attention waver, despite the sweltering heat of the cinema that refused to put on the aircon.
It was horrific.
Even when we asked. It is
we like
an
sadly,
immense experience.
We
loved
brought
it.
jumpers because we were like, ooh, there might be so much aircon that it's cold in there. No, that was not
We
the
were
case.
when we got up after the 3 hours, it was like to peel yourself off
I
the
was
seat.
like, who's gonna faint first? And like in some of the fiery Troy battles, I viscerally felt the heat.
Yeah, it was 4D. But the where I felt it the most was when they were inside in the this again, lads. I know some people want to be free of spoilers, and I respect that you don't want to know anything at all. But there was a horse, and people were inside in it. I'm going to talk about that now. So the moment where all the stuff around the Troy and the Trojan horse stuff thing really just puts you in there in the graphic kind of detail. You like, we all know that story inside out, but just he really thought through the practicalities of 20 sweaty men inside in a horse that's sitting on a beach. Like
when the tide comes in.
Some of them start. Yeah, now I won't talk about the detail, but what I'll say is like that really, when we were so hot, I felt the claustrophobia of that literally. Anyway, I'm not sure what else to say before to get to spoiler street.
Yeah, let's just go to spoilers, because in fairness, I know it's a really old text, and even like we both studied a bit of it at university, but that doesn't mean we actually remembered it. Anyway, we will go to spoiler street now for the Odyssey. You may hear a quick.
This summer, say I do.
I am marrying a stranger.
Like never before.
Am I crazy?
It's a whole new Married at First Sight on Peacock.
Thank God I woke up in love.
With new experts.
My name is Dr. Lisa.
My name is Paul Brunson.
More couples.
This could be the start of a very successful marriage.
And more surprises.
Or maybe not. Everything is just not enough.
You're a little bit crazy.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
I want my fairy tale ending.
Married at First Sight, now streaming. New episodes Thursdays, only on Peacock.
Okay, we're back, so we're going to talk full spoilers now for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Can I say that we've been reviewing every episode of House of the Dragon this season, and every season, and we've been watching House of the Dragon with just like the relief of looking at such big budget, beautiful, amazing action and acting, and then the treat of watching House of the Dragon and this like in the same week. I just have to say, great week of viewing.
Yeah, they're playing in similar parks. I will say, have you seen there was a lot of people online complaining that the armour wasn't accurate to the Bronze Age? Get a life.
So, can I also say in the Bronze Age, not everyone spoke with
Cyclops in these movies.
Not everyone spoke with North American accents either. Now, can I say something?
Go on.
It pissed me right off that they had American accents.
Well, especially because so many of them are British.
I know that they should be speaking Greek,
yeah,
right?
I know, yeah.
I'm aware of that. However, I thought when you weren't doing the native language of a place, that like the rule was you did British accents.
You do posh British accents, yeah.
Like,
that's
why is
that's been the rule of cinema for 100 years. If it's in the past, if it's Ben-Hur, if it's whatever, if it's Spartacus, they all speak posh British accent.
why are like Tom Holland and Robert
Pattinson
Pattinson
doing an American accent?
Doing American accents.
Look, I guess
I think it's because Matt Damon was the star. Matt Damon was like, "Fuck it, I'm not doing an accent."
I think
I'm working it all back from that.
They have to look. I don't know. Obviously, they have to make a decision, right? So and
the decision is British accent.
The decision can never be everybody does a Greek accent, right? Because that's just going to be bad. So
I mean, it would just be so offensive.
It would be so offensive.
No, the decision should be they all learn and speak Greek.
I mean, didn't Mel Gibson do that for Apocalypto, right?
I don't watch films made by Mel Gibson,
okay,
so
well,
I can't say
look, we're
that.
going off track.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make a choice. They made a choice. But like, whatever. I don't just get it.
That's my point.
Get on board with it.
They're the accent, so therefore, like, we can't be complaining about the armour.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
If you stop and think about it, any of this for 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. But you won't, because you'll be so immersed in this thing, because it's engrossing from the start.
Can I say, really pleased to see Anne Hathaway's laid off the Botox for this as well. Because it's so... I've seen her very expressionless in recent films, which is fine. That's her prerogative.
She's good here, I thought.
But she's such a good actress, and I feel like she'd actually diluted her own acting ability, and I'm glad to see her back showing her own range of facial muscles again.
Okay, wow. Okay, shout out to Anne Hathaway's facial muscles. You praised Tom Holland here. I didn't think Tom Holland was very good here.
Oh, really?
No, he's not bad. Certainly not bad. He's a fine actor.
He's just a great, feisty, young...
I don't know.
up-and-coming protagonist prince.
He felt a bit like gormless here. Maybe it's the character. Maybe I guess, but I don't know. I didn't really get on board with Tom Holland in this film. I gotta say, for whatever reason. Everyone else, I think I was very happy with, and I agree. Matt Damon. This is an incredible.
And Matt Damon's one of those actors that I'm like, sure, Matt Damon, whatever. Like, he's in everything. And then actually, whenever I actually watch him in a film, I'm reminded how amazing he was. And if you think about it, he's in almost every scene of the film.
Yeah. And the dude is ripped as well. Fair play to him.
He's such a perfect hero.
Yeah.
Like, he's always had that kind of every guy, but like very powerful, like brilliant action figure, but also like very emotional.
But he's really aged. The age he's at now really suits this sort of older, wiser character as well. Like, I believed him I fully believed Matt Damon as this guy.
I did as well.
And I was on board, and I wanted him to get home. And I really enjoyed. Also really enjoyed Himesh Patel, his number 2 guy in the boat.
Love that. Every relationship there. Like, God, you really felt it, like they spent 10 years on a beach together.
I know, right?
And then they tried to make their way home in the most doomed Odyssey of all time. It was just like, when the stuff with the Cyclops started happening, I was like, this. I actually nearly jumped out of my seat. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah, it's so, and
it was so good.
And let's go through the set pieces, right? So the Cyclops one, loved it. I think one of the consistent things I loved about Odysseus' character throughout this is just, they do the thing of tell, don't show for a little bit, where John Leguizamo, who was great in this, is like, he tells Tom Holland he wasn't the strong. He said you can't always be the strongest or the quickest, so you have to be the smartest.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we're told about Odysseus from the very beginning. But then it's demonstrated again and again and again. And you get that first in this Cyclops scene where they dress themselves. They try all these things. Like the first time they don't get out. Only half of them get out. But what I loved is he jumps back in. He jumps back in.
He's such a hero.
Because he's a hero.
I feel like this must be the bit of it that we studied in my class, because I remembered this all so vividly.
Yeah.
Them pretending to be sheep and all that.
It's awesome.
It's so cool.
But it's done. Yeah. I mean, a lot of that story is kind of high. It's a little bit fantastical and a little bit fancy.
It's like mythical. It's like the whole thing's mythical creatures.
But what I think is so interesting with Christopher Nolan, who's famously a very, grounded and kind of serious filmmaker. I think he's often criticised perhaps for not having any sense of humour and being somewhat cold and emotionless. I thought this film was filled with emotion, not to the point where I was like swelled up or cried or anything.
I cried at the end.
Well, that's good. But I think.
But I was also so hot I nearly fainted.
I guess what I'm saying is I think this film has a lot of heart. I think
it really does,
real heart to it. But I think what I loved about him is like he's not gone like full on Willy Wonka fantasy land or colour, because that's just not his style. But also like he's managed to blend the fantastical and just very normal looking landscapes, I think, to the point where it just felt like I don't know. It felt like it all felt very authentic and like
it feels like we're watching just his evolution of a filmmaker, where he just gets better and better and better. And then there's the bit where like Matt Damon goes to shoot him in the eye, like to kill him, and they're all like, no. And I was like, why
did he do it though? Was it just anger or vengeance or pettiness or? Because I was also thinking like, dude, leave it be.
Also because he kept saying kind of like we make our own luck and stuff. I had a feeling he was a bit less like religious than the others, and I guess we got the glimpse at the end that it was actually after the Battle of Troy that he was a broken man.
Exactly right.
So he's like, I've broken Zeus's rules, and like life has no meaning anymore. And I think he's gone into like a pure nihilist mode, and I think that's why he did it. And they're like they're on after whenever the sea is rough. They're like, you cursed us, so his whole crew hates him, which is such a good setting. What were the other set pieces? We've got the woman who turned them all into animals, which I absolutely love.
And also that was a glimpse of, we saw what Christopher Nolan could do with horror here. Mm-hmm. You don't ever see him playing with horror,
freaky.
really.
And she was massaging their faces and they're like turning into pigs and
But
stuff.
also like, this is what I love about a Christopher Nolan movie. It's like, they clearly just did that. There's putty on stage and they got VFX. And they had like a costume person. That's what I'm guessing, because it just looked so good.
So good,
This is American Werewolf in London level kind of stuff.
Really
some
cool.
of that.
What else
and
did we have?
And it was so like gross. This like the food that they were putting in this mouth, that kind of like these tendrils coming from the plate to the bowl.
Like,
what
were the other big set pieces? Oh, we had the whirlpool. And then they get away from the whirlpool,
awesome.
And then there's like lions just like snatching them. Monsters, giants. Yeah. And then they land on this cursed island.
That was probably the most like I could have stayed in that a bit longer. I'm like, what was that thing? Are we going to talk about that?
I agree. The whirlpool was probably more exciting than the monsters. But then it's that thing of like they've been cursed, and if you go to the island, like the gods are so cruel in Greek mythology, because now they get sent to the island and deliberately starved and they can't leave, just to trick them into eating the cattle.
Yeah, the gods are dicks.
They're really cruel. But probably the most impactful scene was the one where they go out to the kind of marshlands and they meet. They sacrifice the goats.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not the giant one. Oh yeah, so the giant one was amazing because it was so shocking. They were basically just these huge giants in armour that like utterly overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
They lost 2 out of the 3 boats.
Oh my God,
they were all shit scared afterwards. That was all insane, but it's the place where the witch sent him, and he went out and he met all the dead soldiers, and Elliot Page was
awesome,
there.
Yeah.
And Elliot Page turned out to be the little boy from the beginning.
Yeah.
Who Robert Pattinson had screwed over, so I love that as an extra layer.
Yeah.
And that scene was
when he shoves it in Pattinson's mouth at the end.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Like, yeah.
I just love the way all the men are like, you never honoured us. And then they all start chasing them off like, this is the worst journey of all time.
Did you notice that this whole story is just, and the film is just every 10 minutes it's them running away on a beach.
Yeah, just screaming.
It's less just a cycle of that.
I
over
actually
and
think
over
the weakest part of the film is all the scenes with Charlize Theron. She's the only person I was like, she's terrible in it.
Yeah,
and it's not her fault, obviously. Like, she just did what she was supposed to do.
Well, it doesn't amount to much, but it really, I agree, and we don't ever get a sense in the film of Calypso as a character, as a person, or real motivations. You get a little glimpse that maybe she says, again, tell don't show. She's just like, I loved you, and I kind of wanted you to stick around. Is kind of what we get.
She basically jugged him.
But really, I feel like Charlize Theron existed in this movie as a narrative
she gave
framework. She's there so that we can have a modern, the Odysseus of now regaling the past.
Exactly,
so
which
that
worked
we can
really well.
And as we know, Christopher Nolan loves to play with time in his movies.
It worked really well.
And it did. I agree. I think it all flowed and weaved together nicely. Like, he's really,
for me, the meat of the story
is
the desire to get back to his wife. And I think what's so clever about the kind of ultimate monster that he has to slay is actually the insidious nature of all these suitors who've inserted themselves in via these, like, seems to be nightly banquets. And the
how
the
much
poor
food
wife,
and wine have they got here?
The poor wife just sat behind the screen while they eat and make merry, and Robert Pattinson and being such an asshole to the young prince as well. like, I wouldn't have expected everyone to be so blatantly like that to the prince, but I think it was because of the level of frustration that she hasn't chosen anyone yet, that, like, Odysseus hasn't come back. They all presume him dead.
I think slowly over 20 years they're just getting more bolder and bolder, right?
I mean, like, you would presume
it's a gradual slide.
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of fits into... Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think after 20 years anyone would have presumed him dead. But,
yeah, but I think
hate the idea that she would have had to marry any of them. Like, that's just so repulsive. And I'm like, your son's nearly of age. I don't understand why why the character was so against her son taking the throne and being like, you're not a man. It's like, well, what's your option?
Well,
will he take the throne, or will you, like, marry Robert Pattinson?
I don't know. And I will say, like, and again, I'm not fully familiar with the text, but I do think some stuff wasn't properly conveyed here. And so there is some kind of slippage in the adaptation. In particular, I think the movie didn't express particularly well her thing with the loom, like when she's, you know, what she's doing this loom and then she's unwinding it every night, which I remember.
It was said that when she completed it, she had to pick a suitor.
That's right, which I know from the story, but I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the film conveyed that bit very clearly.
Oh, I got that. I just didn't know why she was so against her son taking the throne.
I think because that would put him in danger, or was she just thought he was too?
I don't know.
Too young.
And I guess she was like dying for Odysseus to come home, and I really felt like, if you're going to have a film like this, you need a really good love story. And it's funny because we all think about Helen of Troy, who was played by Lupita Nyong'o here, who, of course, once again, a load of...
Let's not give any voice
racist.
to all that.
I'm not giving them a voice.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there was utter, like, insanity over a black woman being cast as Helen of Troy, who is a fictional character.
Yeah.
And even if she wasn't, who cares? And what's so funny about it is she's in the film for all of 4 minutes, because this is set after the Battle of Troy. But of course she's great always. I loved the scenes with her and her husband, and when he's explaining from his point of view what happened inside the Trojan horse. I thought that was brilliant, and I thought when I cut back to Tom Holland at the end and his eyes were filled with tears, I was like, God, he's a really good actor.
He was good in that.
The Zendaya stuff confused me throughout the whole film, and I was like, isn't this in Dune? Doesn't Timothée Chalamet constantly have visions of her?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, like, all
and
these
she's
actors,
like, she's dressed pretty much the same.
All these actors really need to, like, not be doing more epics for a while.
Yeah.
But of course she's fabulous, and then it all made sense at the end. I think she's Athena.
Well, he refers to her as Athena several times, but I think the reveal is she's a citizen of Troy who was brutally murdered by his
But then it's like
men.
they go to chop her head, and then the head of Athena chops off. So for him, I think they happened at the same time, and he's like merged them together in his head.
Yes, exactly right. But she was in reality just a normal person.
But it's hilarious because on the red carpet, like, she's the person people are most interested in, and like she's
a footnote.
Does she even speak in the film? Like,
no, barely. So, but I think I personally found it really impactful. I feel like the film is just a big epic sweeping adventure you get to enjoy. But I like that Nolan, I think he really landed a message here which feels right for our modern times of, you know, and I think he landed it beautifully with Matt Damon's speech to Penelope at the end about Troy. I thought it's really good stuff.
Incredible.
And he's like, Zeus's law. I love that they keep referencing Zeus's law throughout this whole thing, which is basically like the fundamentals of Christianity. You know, it's like treat your neighbor as you would treat yourself. You know, as you would want to be treated. And you get this, you know, this idea of the beggars being brought in an open house. These are lovely ideals. And because of what he did, and the brutality and twisting that, you know, he words it perfectly. He gave someone a gift and it turned it into a weapon, and they destroyed this entire... There's a great line where he's like, we opened the gates of Troy and unleashed 10 years of rage upon them. That's such a good line.
But Christopher Nolan did it so well, because at the beginning when they let everyone into Troy, we were like, yay, because that scene was so good.
I know,
and we
right?
were on their side. And so to wait to the end of the film to show us actually what happened when they got through the gates and they're just murdering women and all the rest of it. And God, that's why I was so flabbergasted. At the end I was thinking, he's such a master storyteller, like even the order in putting all that and showing us it. And we kept seeing Matt Damon in like the shadow of the flames, but we kind of didn't know what was really happening there until the very end.
Exactly, and it recontextualizes what we knew about his character the entire time and why he was feeling like that. Like you said earlier, why he was so insistent on defying the gods.
And why, like when Charlize Theron was like, you weren't ready to go home. And the message is like, you hadn't...
He couldn't go home to face, because he'd be facing...
You knew what you did.
What he did. Yeah. So it's very rich, but I do feel like he's... Like when that final shot of Matt Damon looking up at Odysseus, looking up at that horse, falling against like a beautiful marble building and the flames. I don't know, I felt very moved by that, and it feels like the times we're living in often do feel like all the progress we've made and the civilization that we've built, a lot of it feels like it's being unraveled right now.
It is.
And I think, and it is, and I think
there's no rules of war left, there's no rules of civil behaviour from
exactly,
people
at the
in
highest
public
levels.
office. Yeah.
So we're now, so I feel like this is so timely.
Like we know if a beggar sat in front of Donald Trump would kick him in the face.
Yeah.
Like
Donald Trump is Robert Pattinson.
We know, and many people in the world have shown their true colours in the last number of years who maybe we wouldn't have expected that kind of behaviour of. So I think he really landed the message that like there's no winners in war, and there's no such thing as victory once you've given up your moral compass. You're not a winner.
Exactly right. But I still nonetheless, don't know if you felt that the film was optimistic.
The end. I mean, their little spiel at the end was like, oh, we can all, good times will come again.
We will rebuild it. Yeah, no, but I don't know. I think I needed that.
I think the film was optimistic. I also think it's a very romantic film. So when we saw the scenes earlier of like the only one man in the village can string the bow, and she was really into it, Anne Hathaway, and at the end for the competition to be, you need to string the bow, and of course he's the beggar at the back, and when he strung the bow and shot it through, like I literally I actually clapped because I was like, that is proper romance stuff.
Yeah.
And like,
it's old school Hollywood storytelling as well.
Like, he slays every suitor except everyone who kneels before him.
I mean, I'm not sure what the plan was here. Like he just turns into John Wick at the end here, but it was it was fun.
It was his idea to bring the Trojan horse in. Like,
yeah.
Like look what he's been through over the last 10 years. Like he's not going to let 50 suitors stand in his way.
I know, but it's just I know he took all the weapons away, but he was just like.
Sorry, the other set piece I loved was when the guys had infiltrated the priests and he rescues Tom Holland.
Yeah, that was good.
Love that as well. Listen, we could talk about it all night, but we do.
One last thing. Logan Marshall Green, upstairs, smashes in the floor and dropping weapons was awesome.
Because Robert Pattinson was like shoring it up. Who's Logan Marshall? Who is he?
He's the guy everyone thinks is Tom Hardy, but isn't.
Everyone was so famous in this that I, by the end, realised like every second side character was like an A-list actor, and I stopped trying to pay attention to who they were. But we do need to get off. Thank you everyone for listening. If you like this podcast, please rate and review wherever you listen, particularly if you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because it really does mean a lot to us. And if you want to hear our TV reviews, come over to patreon.com/theCinemile. We also watch retro movies, and we're watching A Knight's Tale this month, so we're really kind of in the medieval battling spirit right now.
Yeah, man, love it.
Yeah. Right, thanks everyone.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 40% off site-wide, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.